get that card before I go.
Yeah, she apologized for that.
It's still recording. It's still recording now.
I'm here. How long?
That's good.
No, I screwed up one with one. So at the same time. Now I get your post today. Yeah.
The details.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly why I shouldn't be doing
Yeah.
That would make people think about which one was.
That's right, because there's more than one.
Exactly. And it would sort of raise awareness.
Yeah.
That's all right. I think it's a little clear, but we'll be a lot of good questions.
He's doing a quick step.
And she was already just on vacation for that period, right?
Work. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that is beautiful.
Like this.
This is true. Yeah. I know, right?
Both go out of town for 2 weeks. And who's doing the search?
Exactly, and they don't like train other people to do it.
Well, clearly, because I called and asked a question to say that nobody would answer.
A simple, very
A
simple.
simple question, which I probably,
As simple as it
but I
gets.
sort of already knew the answer, but it wasn't an official answer when I was told it. And I so I wanted to verify for sure the meeting's canceled. Because when Jamie told me it's probably going to be canceled, but it wasn't a definite. I think it's Monday, Wednesday. I think this is an appropriate time to know.
Oh, yeah, I would say.
And it was probably posted on the door. But I just thought I'll call. And the person that was working apparently couldn't go look at the door. Had to call somebody.
Amazing there.
Steve was excellent
Yeah,
tonight.
how's that?
He wasn't there with the agenda items. I happened to say there was an agenda item.
This calls me to order. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Present.
approval of the agenda.
Also move to approve the agenda for September 8th, 2025. As presented.
I'll second.
Got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carried. Approval of the consent agenda.
Also move to approve the regular township board meeting minutes dated August 11th, 2025. To accept the treasurer's report as presented. To accept the assessor report for September 2025. Is there something wrong?
No, sorry.
Okay, all right. To approve the August 2025 bills, and the transfer of funds. The bill listing for August 2025 is checks 30921 through 30957. Building check 2643. The electronic fund transfers, payrolls for township, police, and fire departments for August 2025. $199,431.80. Ask Blair.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carried. Town reports, very wise.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, board members. We had a full board meeting August 28th, and during the meeting we had our 2026 and 2027 public budget hearings. We are now on fiscal year October 1st through September 30th, so it's September 30th, 26, and then September 30th, 27. Although we did hold the public hearing, we did not pass a resolution. We referred it to the committee of the whole meeting this week with authority to act because many of us had many issues with the budget. I can tell you personally, I will be making motions to reduce certain line item expenses. Dug through the budget and found some departments that if money that they haven't spent for years and yet it's still in their budget. And so it's time we remove that. We also approved a temporary part-time kennel attendant for animal control. One of our kennel attendants is off on medical leave, and if we hadn't approved a temporary part-time, we would require more overtime, and so it would be less money to the county. We also approved hiring a corrections officer to fill a vacancy at the sheriff's department at step 2. Because he has 5 years' experience as a correction officer with the Genesee County Sheriff's Department. One of the benefits of the taxpayer is having passed the law millage. We now have been able to hire much more experienced both road deputies and correction officers, a lot of them coming from Genesee County. Because where before, we typically would train them and then they'd leave and go someplace else. Now we're a more attractive place to stay. We also approved moving community corrections staff. Right now they're in control of district court. We're moving them to county administration. For years they were under circuit court. After I retired, before I took this position, for some reason they got moved to district court. And so we're going to move them to county administration. And finally, we approved payment of payroll and expenses. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Public time.
Thank you. My name's Don Mellon. I'm from Lapeer Township. I am part of the Metamora Township Board. I have seen a lot of it in Ohio. I am here on behalf of Effective First Lapeer and the public library that we hold very important and dear to us. I wanted to talk to you about public libraries and the power of the parent. No governmental body, like a library board, should decide what is right for any family. Libraries protect all ideas and thoughts for all community members. Libraries believe in the power of the parent to guide their children in navigating the library spaces. This means that parents will keep their children out of adult areas and direct them to the areas in the children's sections that they feel appropriate. Public libraries recognize every parent's strong desire to keep their children safe. Public libraries are spaces for everyone to gain access to resources on a wide variety of topics, and beyond the physical building, there are digital resources. If a parent finds a book they don't like for their children, there are plenty of other books to choose from. The trained librarians can help you find options you think are better suited for your children. Public libraries recognize everyone has the freedom to read, even if another person finds that material objectionable. Libraries recognize and respect the power of the parent to choose. School libraries are different than public libraries, and this info is focused on public libraries. Public libraries assume parents will be there to guide their own children. It is not the library staff, nor do they have the legal right to restrict what your child can read. Parents all have the same right to choose what is best for their family. No governmental body, like a library board, should decide what is right for any family. I don't believe any of you would want anybody telling you what you could or could not read. So I would hope that you give that same consideration to everybody else in our county that our library covers. Libraries protect all ideas and thoughts for all community members. I do have a brochure that I'd like to share with anybody that wants one. Would anybody like one? Thank you. Please forgive the casual attire and Grace makes it a little tricky to get past.
It's okay.
I'm good.
We're pretty casual.
Karen Borshako, still Village of Metamora. So I want to say first that just like that agenda item, that got snuck on the agenda when you changed the meeting or the office hours here, I noticed, I've been noticing this for years now, that when the police and fire want something, it's not on the agenda, it's just part of their report. That's very different than most other townships and municipalities. Their big items that they want would be in the agenda itself, so then the public knows that that's coming. But we got to talk about Metamora Country Days and Hot Air Balloon Festival, because this is always the meeting where the folks congratulate themselves for a safe and successful event. But it was better than 2024, I will absolutely give them that, but there were still major problems. So let's start with, the fact that I put in a FOIA request with the village for the inspection records for that event and the emergency operations plan that Chief Davis made, and they didn't have it, even though at the last village meeting, he said he was going to give a copy to the village president. They told me they didn't have it. That should be on file everywhere. But, there was a fire truck out there on the field. I didn't go, but I watched the live stream, and I grabbed this screenshot from the live stream. And on Friday night, there was a fire truck out on the field. Right, that's good. It's good to have fire ambulance out on the field. But there were people on top of the fire truck. There was someone standing. It looks like children sitting. I want these back, but you can look. So how useful was that fire truck? How long is it going to take to get people off of that fire truck? And what was the route for that fire truck to move? Because it looked pretty packed in. And, my brother drove bump and run and demolition derby all over the thumb. So I've been to all kinds of even casual events, versus the big events that I used to do, the big professional events. I've never seen people on a fire truck before. I've never seen a fire truck or ambulance or anything else closed in. So I just really think that we need to be rethinking that stuff. I want to know who approved this. The hydrant in front of the Lions, this is rebar. And there's spiky things on the bottom of it too. That's not how you cordon off a fire hydrant. It's not, and this got parked in anyways, completely parked in on Friday night. But my gosh, there are like 8,000 better ways to do it. That's not how you do it. And I don't know why we're so into things around here that can impale people, right? There are all kinds of cones and all sorts of things that you use. You don't use items that can impale people. Maybe it's because I spend so much time with middle schoolers. They push each other around. They do all kinds of things. There are people who are unsteady on their feet. That's just completely unsafe. I want to know who approved this. This is the entrance to the balloon field. Who approved that? That's absolutely insane. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that in any of your events. This was the next step. This is what happened to it. Still really unsafe. Again, items that can impale people. And this is now Deer Ridge Run. It used to be open. That used to be how the balloonists got in and out. And now it's all completely parked in. And that's just like 5% of what I saw out there. Thank you.
Any other public time? Fire department.
Good evening. Activity report for the month of August 2025. We had 30 calls for the month. We had 7 fires, 20 medicals, 3 PIs, 1 meeting, 4 trainings, and 11 work details. A couple things on the agenda is we would like permission to spend up to $2,000 on a new projector and, or a projector. We don't have one as of now, but a projector and sound system, speakers, things of that nature for our training room. We had a couple guys do some look into the projectors and the sound system, and that's about where we're at as far as price for all that stuff is $2 grand, right?
We've already set it up so that we already had Wi-Fi or HDMI cables when they did the remodel, so we're ready to hook it up. It's going to be suspended from the ceiling in the middle of the room there.
So if I could, I would like to give permission to spend up to $2,000 on the projector and the sound system.
I'll make a motion to approve up to $2,000 for a projector and sound for the training room.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Motion carried.
Thank you. We interviewed a guy the other day, Matthew Montez, and actually me and Doug are going to meet with him next week, but he has applied, he's went through a background, and he went through 1 interview. He really wants to do it. Seems like he has a lot of motivation and wants to help and be a part of something. So hopefully the interview that we do with him will turn out well, and we can hire him and put him on. So we're looking forward to hopefully hiring Matthew. And then every Metamora days we do the food shack on top of the hill, and we don't have everything accounted for yet, but I think profit-wise we're going to be about $6,200 for that as far as profit for the year. That's down a little bit from what it was last year, but you know, for 2 days of work, we do really well there. So that's about where we're going to be as far as walkaway profit. Other than that, that's all that I got. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Police department.
Good evening. For August 2025, we had 336 calls for service. 177 of those were traffic stops. A couple other things: 6 property damage accidents, 2 car deer property damage accidents, 2 hit and runs, 4 personal injury accidents, 7 alarms, 3 domestic violence incidents, 2 warrant arrests, and 2 OWI, operating while intoxicated arrests. As far as training went this month, we're pretty busy with some other events and things like that. But our drone unit, Officer Plowman, Reserve Sergeant Tim Lipka, Reserve Officer Tyler Lipka, they were able to provide a demonstration, do some training with other Lapeer County Sheriff's Office special units towards County Park. Also, we had Officer Irish completed 80 hours of technical crash investigation. It's the second of 3 courses to be a certified accident reconstructionist. I will note he finished 4th out of 30 in his class. Did a phenomenal job there. Metamora Days, we already heard about it, but We actually did have a pretty successful year. No major incidents or arrests to report. Nobody was impaled by any rebar or anything like that. I'd like to recognize and thank all the members of our department for their dedication to keep the community and festival goers safe during the event. I'd also like to thank the Lapeer County Sheriff's Office, the Explorers, Lapeer Township Police Department, and the Michigan State Police Lapeer Post for their assistance with traffic control and things around the event. A couple notable incidents. On the 15th, we had a 2-car PI accident. The vehicles were involved in a road rage incident at 24 Brower Road. They collided. One of the vehicles rolled, and the vehicle that rolled was convertible, and someone got pinned underneath the vehicle. That victim was freed and transported to Hurley Hospital in Flint with serious injuries. The roadway was shut down for approximately 2 hours for investigative purposes. The Lapeer County Reconstruction Team, which we're a part of, is also our drone unit were utilized for the incident. I'm happy to report the female is expected to make a full recovery. That incident is still under investigation. And then also on the 27th, we had a forgery complaint at the Choice One Bank. The suspect made a check out to himself from a business. They found out that it was fraud after the fact. As we were taking the complaint, the suspect, they figured out that he cashed several checks at different branches, Choice One Banks in Genesee and Lapeer County. And that information was flagged, and the suspect was actually in the process of trying to cash a forged check at the Choice One in Inland City, and he was able to be taken into custody. A warrant request has been forwarded to the Lapeer County Prosecutor's Office. And, the last thing I have is, the only thing I'm going to ask for is the third traffic crash reconstruction class for Officer Irish. October 20th to the 31st, it's a 2-week course, it's $1,000, and it's actually at the Lapeer County EMS building here in Lapeer, so it's beneficial for us. You know, there's no lodging or anything like that involved. Like I said, it's $1,000, so I'd like permission to send him to that course.
I'll make a motion to approve the $1,000 to send Officer Irish to the training.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carried.
I'm all set.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the Lapeer County Road Commission. Stand up here.
Everybody doing this evening?
Good.
So, Lapeer County Road Commission, we had turned in 2 project agreements for Davison Lake Road. You guys are probably familiar with the area down, it's kind of down by the old golf course. We had several areas down there this year. Spring of the year, we're having water over the road issues. You know, and with the frost is heating in the springtime. So, and a lot of that, so I came up with 2 different agreements that we could do. Kind of the more budgetary mindset, and then the Cadillac plan, if you will. So I'll start with the Cadillac plan. Basically, it's a road stabilization project. Both projects include a new cross culvert. The culvert that's there is failed, it's crushed, there's only bits and pieces of it left. That's not allowing the water to flow. The water flow in that area runs from north to south, crosses through the golf course, then eventually hits the river. Well, right now the road is kind of acting as the dam. So as the water level comes up on the north side, it's actually flowing over the road and causing a road issue there. It really caused us a lot of problems this spring. Many residents know we had Davison Lake Road closed through traffic for about a month and a half during the spring of the year this year. Many vehicles were getting stuck in that area, and it was kind of a nightmare. So Plan A, Option A, came in, I believe, right at $33,000. That was the installation of a new cross culvert. That was installing GeoGrid is what we call it. It's a subsoil stabilization. It's like a grid. If you can think about it, it's like a big mat that you roll out, and it has little diamonds in it, and it's actually mesh wire with a plastic coating on it. It's like a lifetime product, and then you bring in a crushed 1x3 concrete over top of it, and then we'll put gravel on top of that. So overall, it's going to raise the road up a little bit and stabilize the subsoil underneath. The other option too is installing of the cross culvert and then putting about 600 tons of road gravel in that area, that low spot. After looking over both plans, and we had another similar situation it was on Rocker Road, just east between Blood and Metamora Road, through that swamp, through that area. And we actually were able to remedy that. It's been about 4 or 5 years now, Dave, I think. We just put a good lift of gravel through there, actually built that road up about 1.5 feet through there. We were able to get the cross culvert unclogged, so water was able to traverse through there. So obviously, we don't know exactly what Mother Nature is going to bring us next year, but I think a good start, if we wanted to, we could even do this in pieces. If we wanted to install the cross culvert, just put the lift of gravel over top of it and see what happens. We're not really any cost loss if we decide to do the stabilization even at a later point, because all we would have to do would be to just push that gravel off, put that geogrid down, crushed 1x3 on top of it, and we can bring that gravel back over top of it. So we're not really out anything. Actually, after seeing how the summers went and the amount of rain we've gotten, I think the biggest improvement is going to be allowing that water to flow through and not the road not being a dam. So totally up to you guys what you want to. Either or will be a great improvement. And if we wanted to go with the lesser amount, I would support that completely. And we can always, if see what spring brings. If we have to go back next year and or the following year and update that with the geogrid, it's totally doable. We're not going to include that much additional cost. It's not like it's a paved road. The gravel, we can just move it out of the way. The big thing is getting that tube in so that water can flow and it's not using the road as a dam, a levee basically is what it is right now. So, if there's any questions, if anybody has any questions in regards to, that particular project, like I said, I would support either one. We can do one step first, see what happens, and obviously it's a lot of money difference. It's double the cost. A lot of it is the material, cost of material. That geogrid is a very expensive product, but it's totally what the township wants to do. So, and I guess while you guys have me here tonight, I'll touch on some other things that we are working on and we have completed in the township this year. We did a large drainage improvement project throughout the entire township. We did a lot of improvements down Barber Road. A lot of the hills, we were able to reestablish positive drainage coming down the hills, especially north of Rocker Road. We installed a new cross culvert in the intersection of Rocker and Gardner Road that we found while we were ditching there. It was one that was so covered up and rotted out that it was basically non-existent. So we were able to reestablish that. We were able to get that water coming down that hill to the south and get it directed where it needs to go towards the river, and not cutting across that farm there on the southwest corner's pasture. So that was good. They were really happy about that. And also down Thomas Road, huge improvements. Thomas, south of Brower, north of Davison Lake, that whole section pretty much. If anybody's traveled that area after big rainstorms, it washes out. There will be 2-3 foot washouts, very dangerous, especially around the curves. We were able to remedy that. That's holding up nice. We've had some good heavy downpours since then. water's rolling off the road, the big trout, into the ditches, off where it needs to go. So we made some great improvements there. Also, a few others on Gardner Road. There were some spots that we touched up on Gardner Road in particular. So all in all, I'm very happy. We did find a few hidden skeletons in the closet as we were doing some ditching and some unexpected costs that we did incur with some tubes that we didn't even know were there. But we're going to do it right the first time while we're there and fix those. Grading and brining, we did have a little bit of a hiccup there with the M24 closure of Brocker Road. We did come back just recently between Metamora and 24. Did not get graded and brined for the second time when we did the rest of the township. As on the other side, the primary section to the west, this week and end of last week, we did come back, touch those up now that that's open. And we have got everything graded and brined for the second time. We've been lucky the rainfall's kind of slowed down a little bit, so the roads will actually hold up a little bit better. What else? Roadside mowing. We obviously are getting ready to start our second roadside mowing. We moved into Hadley Township later this afternoon, and that'll be 3-4 days, so probably sometime next week we'll be in and completing our second cutting of the roadside for the year. We are currently working on the Dead, Dying, Dangerous Tree Cutting Program with a local contractor this time, Edwards Tree Service, is who we're working with, First Captain. Things are going good. We got all 4 miles of Barber Road is done. We just came back north and we're starting to work on Gardner Road now. Obviously, again, it has the name Dead, Dying, Dangerous. We're targeting those trees. They just look like skeletons. There's no foliage left on them. They're hollow. There's holes rotting in them. Things just to alleviate issues with for the motoring public, for the safety of the motoring public. So that's going good. We are, they have some new equipment, so a little bit slower than other contractors, but we're working through it, and everything is going really well there. Today I was out there with them. I jump start them at least 2-3 days a week, go out there with them, make sure everything's going good, and we actually had 2 or 3 residents today stop and thank us for what we were doing, so that was a nice, kind of nice attaboy for the township and for us. So people do realize what we're doing, why we're doing it, and that's nice. Other than that, no, things are going good. The roads are holding up, and anybody has any questions in regards to other things coming up, as always, I'm just a phone call away. So.
I just have a question on the GeoGrid. Have you used it in other places other than what you want to do with Metamora?
Yep, we sure have. We used it I used it in several locations. One that probably the most, where it was a similar situation, was on Mitchell Lake Road, or Mitchell Road off of Bullock Road in Elba Township, kind of by the lake there. We had a spot that was continuous year after year causing issues, and it was more. We ended up putting some under drains in with it. We had a natural spring in that spot, so we were able to kind of float the road over that particular area. I've also used it up on Flint River Road up in Oregon Township. We had some issues there, and the GeoGrid does work. It's very expensive. I'm not sugarcoating that at all. It is a very expensive product.
But it lasts a long time?
It does last, yeah. It does last a long time.
What's the life expectancy?
It'll probably outlast me. So, yeah. I think they put like a 40-50 year, lifespan on that. Kind of like we've changed to the polycoid cross tubes down to black cross tubes. Those are 50+ year cross tubes. So we're looking at different ways to extend life of things. Yeah. So the GeoGrid does help. Like I said, after looking at that spot again and discovering more, it is a water flow issue. And the road is literally, essentially, it's a levee right now.
Right.
It fills up on the north side, trickles across, then the cars, of course, hydraulics, cars are going through there, and it just pounds it open, and then we have a big trench through it. The nice thing is being on the gravel road, like I said, if we put this cross tube in, and we put the gravel over top, and we're like, oh, you know what, we're still having some issues there, all I have to do is just hose that gravel off, put that down, and we can reclaim the gravel. So, you know, the budgetary route might be the way to go this time. It was successful on Brocker Road when we did that. So, I mean, and it's that same vein of water that comes through. It literally is almost the exact watershed. So,
we don't want it to be shut down again.
Right.
Like, do you think that action 2 would prevent it from being shut down?
In the springtime, you mean?
You said it was closed for a month, that's probably a big deal.
Well, it's gonna open the tube up.
Right.
Yeah, it will open the tube, and the big thing is there with the frost. So during the, like, you know, when everyone says the frost laws, right? We're aware of what the frost laws are. So what happens is the road beds actually melt from the top down. So that top surface is mushy, and there's still frost and ice underneath. So the whole road is kind of floating and sliding on top of the ice. The big issue there is everything's so waterlogged because the water never gets a chance to dissipate and flow through, that it just saturates that ground, it freezes it rock hard. As the traffic's driving in, you know, it's pounding that frost farther and farther. Where you could be off in a pasture somewhere and you only have 6-8 inches of frost in the roadbed this year, we had like 37 inches of frost. And that's because the traffic is pounding that down. So I think with getting rid of that water and letting that water flow through there, drying, keeping that, you know, that subsoil drier instead of being saturated year round, I think that we have a good shot of it remedying it. And, you know, it's not that it's Mother Nature though, right? So we're kind of at the mercy, but I mean, for a $16,000 swing, I would gamble on the chance of trying to fix it with a more budgetary route. But again, it's totally whatever. I support either way. So.
Would you say there's more traffic on Davison Lake than Brocker Road, or is it equal?
Actually, I would say Brocker probably has more traffic than Davison Lake does. Because we're past the cutoff where everyone dives off of 24. We're east of Metamora Road. And the traffic counts really die off east of Metamora Road. Now if it was the section from 24 to Metamora, even Thomas Road, you know, then I would definitely throw the geogrid out just due to traffic. Traffic counts, but it's probably, I mean, I can look at the map there, I can't see it from here, but it's probably half the amount of traffic, so.
But the geogrid is a kill, right? I mean, that's ultimately what I think about, is it fixes it. 50 years, never shutting the road down. The other solution's a 50-50 chance.
I mean, I'm not gonna say it's 100%, because there's no such thing.
That's
but
yeah.
it is a very, very good product and
robust solution, right?
Wonderful success with it.
It's not really a Cadillac solution, it's the best solution.
For the situation, for gravel roads, when you're trying to bridge a gravel road, any road, over swamp. And we have a lot of that down here.
Yep.
You know, there's a lot of these, underneath these roads, just corduroy, where back when they built the roads, they just flopped trees, put some bigger stone over top, and the roads are floating
I
over
remember
timbers.
when they did Metamora Road.
Yeah.
They dug a huge tree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right out in front of our property.
Yep.
Big one.
Yep. Yeah, and there's spots on the north end of the town, we dug out crushed cars, we dug out, I mean, anything that they could get their hands on to float a road, they did.
Yeah.
You know, but that's just the way we can't carry cars anymore, it's not advisable, so. But, you know, a product like this is good. Expensive, but it is good. so.
It's a good fix.
You know, but then, you know, keep in mind too, that wasn't the only spot on Davison Lake Road last year that caused that closure. There was farther down, closer to Gardner too, you know, it had some bad spots too. So it's, you know, almost too, where you start, where you stop, right? I mean, they're all gravel roads with, you know, but I think the big thing is getting the water flow. That's first and foremost the most important thing we can do there. With the new installation of that cross culvert, that is going to drastically improve the situation on itself. So, but like I said, I will entertain any option, and we can go from there. But if nobody else has any questions, I'll stop there.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Thanks, Gabe.
Yep.
Okay, what are we gonna do?
Well, there's two draft motions here, so I think we should just go through both and then do a vote and go from there. Is that okay? That's kind of the format here, so or do we want to vote on one? It says or, so we can just say, what do you guys want?
I was gonna just make a motion to, approve the Lapeer County Road Commission agreement in the amount of $16,000 as presented, since Gabe thinks once we clear out the two, that would, and then we can come back again. So that's mine. I'll second that, that motion. So do you want me to do a roll call vote since you want to do two motions? Scott?
We don't have to do two, let's just see what happens with this motion.
Yeah.
You want a roll call?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll start with me. Clark, yes. Best.
Yes.
Benscoter.
I prefer the 33, so I'm going to say no.
Okay. Chouinard. Yes. Derderian?
No.
That's 3-2.
I passed.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay, American Tower.
Okay. In your packet, well, I'm not going to make a motion right now. In a second, I would like to have discussion first. So I'm going to deviate from the process here, if that's okay with the board. Received an email from Kimberly, who is a senior lease manager. She doesn't work for American Tower. She's like a contractor. And what I've learned is that these contractors reach out to places where there's a cell tower there, and they try to renegotiate existing contracts that exist. So we currently have an existing cell tower contract with American Tower via Verizon Wireless. It was a contract that we renewed in 2019, a while back. So they reached out and they're saying, we would like to propose two options to renegotiate the contract. So on page 2 of your packet, it defines those two lease options. And I'll go through each option and we can talk about it. So option 1 was a lease amendment. It offered a one-time signing bonus payment of $5,000. It would keep the current rent as it stands. They're asking for a 10% term escalation amount to commence on September 1st of 25, which is an every 5-year term. Currently, we have a 20% escalation rate, so it's a half. It's half of what we have today. They want to remove the consent for sublease. They want to have the option to expand the premises to 625 square feet for $300 a month, with the final expiration date to remain at 3/31 of 2054. That was option 1. Option 2 is basically they want to buy us out. I'll say that much. They want to give us a lump sum of cash in the amount of $884,000, and there's 2 payment options. And they want the payment to spread over like a 10-year period with interest. So, going back to option 1, I did some analysis. I gotta tell you, as you can see in the email, she sent it to me May 16th. And she wanted this done in like 2 weeks. It wasn't gonna happen. So I wanted to take my time with this analysis and ask a lot of questions of a lot of people. And it was incredibly difficult to get a lot of answers out of I wouldn't say American Tower, but Kimberly was helpful, but yet it was a struggle to get things cleared. So I'll just kind of go through, this is kind of my assessment, and then if you guys got questions you can ask. So the signing bonus to me is insufficient to cover the potential loss to the township in terms of the revenue we lose over the term of the contract. I made some assumptions because I couldn't get clarity from the person, but essentially, let's see here, okay, so I said, assuming we are only discussing the payments received from Verizon Wireless and not from American Tower, which is a rent lease payment, which this is what I got from her recently, so she kind of clarified that for me. We get about $24,883 per year, and that's with a 20% increase in the five-year term. So think of it this way: we get that amount every year for 5 years. At the end of 5 years, it goes up 20%, and then we get that for 5 years, and it goes up to 59. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the 10% change, and you can see it here. That basically, it would be if you reduce from 20% to 10%. Essentially becomes a loss of about $490,000 over the term of the lease, which is significant.
Right, yes.
That's my analysis.
Yes.
Over, you know. So the other comment was they want to remove consent for sublease. I had lots of conversations with Jerry Fisher, our attorney, on this one. Jerry said, have we ever denied them a request? And to the best of my knowledge, we've never denied them a request to sublease, so there's no reason to remove it. We're willing to listen and approve it. The next one was they wanted to expand the premises by 625 square feet for $300 a month. So in your packet, you can see basically an aerial view. It's actually a bad picture, black and white. Sorry about that. And then the existing layout, which is on page 3. So I did some quick calculations based on what exists today and what we get paid for that. It amounts to about $9.41 a square foot today. The amount they're proposing is around $5.76 a square foot, so a lot less than we're getting today. There's some other constraints we have around that, where the tower is. It's actually kind of landlocked, if you will.
Yes.
The north side of that, there's a water well that the fire department uses. Well, obviously, there's a parking lot to the south of that, so we have to give up part of the parking lot. Obviously, west is the building, east is the property line, so they're kind of landlocked. So it's kind of difficult to decide how we actually give up 625 square feet of land space without giving up our parking lot. So if you go to page 4. Obviously the final expiration date of August 31st of 2054, 59. I don't have any issues with that. Option 2 is the buyout, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard to do this analysis because, obviously, what is the tower really worth over the next 7 to 8 years? So, I mean, the risks in not approving this would be the risks of them saying remove the tower.
That's what I was asking. Where are they going to go? They're not going to.
Well, it's a significant investment to tear it down and replace it. Obviously, it's hard to say where technology is going to go over the next 20 years. Who knows what it would even use cell towers? I mean, it would all be, satellite phones. Yeah. Who knows? But I'll pause for questions if you guys have any. I'd like to keep talking. So I have talked to Jerry Fisher a lot about this. I reached out to the MTA to ask for guidance because this is, from what I'm hearing, this is happening a lot for a lot of communities that have cell towers, where these people are being contracted to go out and kind of solicit the townships or whoever owns the cell tower that the game plan is to say, hey, you're a high rent facility, we really want to negotiate lowering your rates because, and they kind of throw the threat out there.
Yeah, but they're making money, Scott.
Well, yeah, I know. So the MTA provided us an attorney that Jerry has talked to. I guess apparently knew each other well. The attorney basically said, this is very common. They do this quite often, and that he says, it's highly unlikely they're going to move the tower. He says probably 90% chance. He said he's not heard of that case happening, but that's what they think it is. So
They thought they'd throw us a bone.
So $5,000 for a loss of 400 and some thousand is probably not equivalent. But,
Thanks for working on it.
Yeah.
yeah, I took my time with this one because I wasn't sure and I wasn't getting a lot of data from the cell phone companies. They really didn't want to share. And we had multiple contracts for multiple times, so I had to go through all those contracts and try to get understanding because some of the stuff didn't make sense to me. But
Well, that option two, that perpetual easement, what exactly is that? It's an easement, if they can't extend it, what are they gonna do with an easement?
I don't know. So we essentially get a lump sum of cash and give up our future cash flow for that. So.
Maybe it's not for townships in trouble.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
So, obviously, this is a big decision. I thought it'd be appropriate for us as a board to have a conversation about this before I reply back with my findings.
I don't think that we should make this decision tonight.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, I'm not in a hurry. They haven't yelled at me yet, so.
Maybe we should find out what other,
What are you wondering about that he hasn't already explored?
how do the other townships maybe have been bought out? I mean,
We're not gonna get bought out anyway.
well, all right, okay, so.
I'm just wondering if there's something that he hasn't.
No, I
He didn't
just
think
didn't
about it.
understand
Yeah,
this
I know.
perpetual easement.
Mhm.
Easement to what? I mean, if they can't go anywhere with it, they can't expand.
Well, they can maintain what they have too, right?
Yeah, is that what that means?
Well, what it means to me is that we're gonna give up basically all rights to future cash flow for this one time.
Yeah.
investment.
Right.
So,
I'm not interested in it.
Me neither.
so if you want, we don't have to make a motion on it. If you guys wanna take the next 30 days and have a conversation and discuss it, if you have more questions for me, we can pursue,
Yeah.
follow up with this one. It's a good decision, it's a substantial decision, so I'm okay with tabling it. So I won't make a motion if that's what the board would like.
Well, let's see. What do you wanna do? Make a decision tonight or wait a month?
No, I don't wanna make a decision tonight. I think we should dig into it a little further. I mean, I'd like to know what other townships do in that
We need
situation.
Bud here.
He's the one that's starting.
Yeah, and Bud made some really good deals,
Yeah.
apparently.
But he isn't here anymore, so.
No.
Well, I tell you what, I may interrupt you, but maybe we should table it, and if Ann's got more questions or Tracy.
I just,
I'll be glad to follow up on that.
it's like a carrot dangling in front of us, but then we give up. I don't know.
It's not like a carrot for me. Yes.
You wanna sell
No, I
it?
wanna,
Okay.
I
Well,
wanna
then
not do
well,
nothing.
all right.
I mean, I haven't done a net present value calculation of the money today versus tomorrow. I mean, I could probably reach out to our accountants and have a conversation about that, but I'm not sure what the interest rate or value would be.
Yeah. It fluctuates.
Right, that's all I have on that topic. I can make a motion to delay, to table it.
Is that your motion?
That is my motion.
I'll support it, at least for a month.
All in favor?
Aye. That's it.
Okay.
Sue?
Yeah.
You wanna?
Okay, so the next thing was, with the new ESTA employer, things that started in February. I had reached out to Jerry, asking, how we should go about in the future for updating our employee policy to kind of be in compliance with that. So, he's not an HR lawyer, say, so he reached out to Peggy Schultz, Purchase Groups, and had asked if they would be interested in looking at our policy and making some recommendations. So that's what this agreement is to allow them to do that, and then we would have our supervisor sign that. So their fees are $1,500 to $2,500. They based on this, I think it would be on a lower range because it's not, we're small.
Right.
It's not like
Yeah, we don't have a
something
complicated.
big that they normally deal with, so. So that's when I think.
I think that's a good idea, because you said it was complicated.
Yeah,
With the different types of employees that we have.
Yeah, and this is what they primarily do, they do other things, obviously, but, they're more experienced, I'll say, than Mr. Fisher, so.
Yeah.
That's why I, would ask. So I guess my motion is to approve the standard terms of engagement, letter for legal services retaining Peggy Schultz, Birch Road PLC for the purpose to review and revise employment policies and supporting materials at the cost of $1,500 to $2,500 plus any additional fees that may be required. So if it went outside that scope, we would probably have to pay her hourly fee.
I'll support that. It's a good idea.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Township board discussion. Anybody have anything?
I would like to say to the police, fire, that your presence was really appreciated. Every time I was downtown for the Memorial weekend, there were staff everywhere, so it was great to see. I saw them helping out with some parking issues and just really being part of the, making sure everything was happy and going well. So thanks, well planned, and nice job by everybody.
Yeah.
I got a topic, I just want to let the board know that I will not be here for the October meeting. So,
And that meeting will be on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Due to the Columbus Day holiday, so.
Write that down for me.
Okay, we need one more moment.
Make a
Motion
motion.
to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi, I'm Paul Smith. I live on top of, so just 4 houses down, we're at the bottom.